What's up, guys? Back at another video. Today we're talking about Sean Strickland. Yes, good old Sean Strickland is a two-time middleweight champion of the UFC. He defeats Khamzat Chimaev by split decision. And man, we got a lot to unpack. First of all, if you would have told me who was the one fighter at middleweight that would have beaten Khamzat Chimaev, I would have never have said Sean Strickland, honestly. It's funny enough, this is like how MMA math works though, but I probably would have said maybe Dricus du Plessis had a good shot at beating Khamzat, but we know how that fight went. He was dominated 5 rounds. Strickland comes in, kind of usual Khamzat in the first round, gets him down, pretty much holds him down the rest of that round. But in the second round, this is where I believe truly Khamzat either mentally broke or just had a huge adrenaline dump and cardio dump. And you started to see body language that was, the body language of a fighter who was tired, the body language of a fighter who you would think would be in the 4th or 5th round, but only the second round. It is a lot of energy, guys. When it comes to grappling, there is a lot of energy that is expended. But usually you will see someone kind of gas out like that if they're a striker and they switch their game plan up to do grappling and they're just not used to the output in a real fight. But Khamzat Chimaev, this is his bread and butter. This is what he's done, day in, day out, fight in, fight out for so many years. This is his game plan. So to see him be so tired and just his body language, I knew right then and there watching that fight, guys, that Sean Strickland was probably going to win. Strickland has really good cardio. I think Strickland is very stubborn in the fact that he's going to stay in your face with kind of that upright fighting style and sort of just parry these punches and throw that jab out there. But that jab worked wonders for Strickland. I mean, people sleep on the jab. That little popping jab that pops you in the mouth, every 10 seconds, that can be very, very frustrating. It can wear on your gas tank. And it also makes it a lot harder to move out of the way of other punches, other combinations. So, man, like, hats off to Sean Strickland. This is a huge, feather in his cap, because before this, the only other person that was a 2-time middleweight champion was Israel Adesanya. And now, Sean Strickland has become a 2-time middleweight champion. And he's beaten someone, who he beat to become a 2-time middleweight champion. I mean, there was a bigger person to beat than Khamzat Chimaev, because Khamzat Chimaev was undefeated going into this. So right now where it stands, you have Khamzat Chimaev, who now suffers his first loss in the UFC, someone who looks like they were going to be undefeated their whole career. I didn't think anyone was going to beat Khamzat. Sean Strickland does it. Sean Strickland also has a win over Israel Adesanya, another big upset. 2 biggest upsets, all for title wins. I mean, what a career for Sean Strickland. I think, this kind of makes him have a Hall of Fame career. How can you argue that? 2-time middleweight champion, beat Adesanya, beat Khamzat Chimaev. I mean, guys, Sean Strickland is putting up quite the impressive resume. And, it was just that consistent pressure by Strickland. And I do think a lot of people are arguing, I don't know if, Khamzat lost. I think Khamzat won. I will tell you this. When when a lot of your fights are based off of control time, like Khamzat is, a lot of his fights are won off that control time where he gets people down and they just don't get up, and he's obviously in a dominant position on the ground. He only had 1 real round of that, which was the first round. He got him down again in the later rounds, but nothing like to where that round was just completely dominated. So when you're on the feet and you're just trading strikes, Strickland's going to outstrike you. That's his bread and butter. That's his game. So that ain't nothing equivalent to Sean Strickland thinking that he was going to shoot a takedown on Khamzat and think he's going to beat Khamzat at that game. Like, it's just not going to happen. So I do believe Sean Strickland won that fight by split decision. I do think that Khamzat Chimaev maybe had a rough weight cut. That definitely wears on your gas. And it's just crazy to think that he wants to move up to 205 when he entered the UFC as a welterweight. And already welterweight to middleweight is a big jump, 15 pounds. Most weight classes, it's 10 pounds. So it does make you wonder, you know, what is going on with Khamzat Chimaev? What is his walking around weight? What does his conditioning look like with Sam Calavita out of the training lab? Who Cub Swanson also had a lot of things to say negatively about that. So all in all, though, these are things I'll get in my next video. But Sean Strickland, 2-time middleweight champion, American-born champion. America's got that strap back at middleweight. And make sure you guys like, comment, share, and subscribe. Back in tomorrow, another video. Let's go.